It's been said that verse 10 is the epicenter of Psalm 51. That it's the summary of David's true need. It demonstrates that David understands how he's gotten himself into such a mess. Look at what he says in verse 10. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Now, why is that so significant? Because when he says, create in me a clean heart, O God, he's admitting that his greatest problem is not outside of him. It's inside of him. You see, our world would have you to believe that our greatest problems are outside of us, other people, him, her, my job, my boss, this world, the people in this world, my geographical location, that our greatest problem is outside of our greatest problems are outside of us, and the only solution is inside of us. You've got what it takes to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, take control of your life, defeat all of the giants in your life, blah, blah, blah. But this is very different. What David's saying here is, no, my greatest problem is inside of me, and the only solution to that problem is outside of me. I am not the solution to the problem, I am the problem. When he says, create in me a clean heart, O God, he's admitting that his greatest problem is not him or her or them. It's inside of him. He knows that he cannot blame anybody for the choices he's made. Well, David knows that God alone can remove his guilt. That God alone can set him straight. That God alone can renew him and restore him. He knows that while others may never forgive him, he'll be okay if God forgives him. He knows that. That's why he's making his appeal to God. He knows that if other people look at me badly for the rest of my life and on for the rest of history, I'll be okay if I know that God forgives me, if I know that God loves me. When we know, and you've heard me say this before, when we know that God loves us unconditionally, we don't need everybody else to like us. David knows that. He knows that's true. I am so grateful that David's confession here is so raw, that it's so real, that it's so unedited, so maskless. I love it. It gives me words to say. It gives me feelings to feel. I said this a couple weeks ago, but when someone shares their successes with me, it can be inspiring. It can be. But when someone shares their failures with me, it reminds me that I'm not alone. And it always gives me hope. Well, Psalm 51 reminds me that we screw up. And whether we ever act out in any kind of big way like this, or it just stays inside, we're no different. David had an unclean heart. We have an unclean heart, and though our uncleanness may express itself in different ways, and we have our own sophisticated ways of categorizing sins, this is worse than that, and that is worse than this, and so on and so forth. But before God, all have sinned and fallen short of his glory. All, Paul says in Romans 3. That's one of the most painful things about consequences. You screw up and you feel like you're all by yourself. It's hard for me to believe that there are other people out there who can really understand my pain, my loss, my guilt, my shame. You feel alone. Well, Psalm 51 is a reminder we're not alone.